Hi everyone, welcome to class. My name's Claire and today I'm taking you through a 45-minute creative vinyasa class. So we'll keep things relatively simple today because it's the first time that I've practiced with some of you. So I'd like you just to get used to my style today and get used to the movements. So we'll need a strap. If you don't have a strap, you can improvise with a bit of rope or maybe some stretchy pants or a broomstick or whatever you can find around the house that you can grab onto with a little bit of tension. Also, a bolster would be great if you've got one, but if you don't, you can improvise with pillows. You can use 2 or 3 stacked onto each other, and that will work beautifully as well. So let's get started. I always like to start my classes in a posture named Supta Baddha Konasana, reclining bound angle pose. And I'll teach you a little bit more of the traditional Sanskrit language and the traditional names of the postures as we go along. But we'll just start with that for today. Supta Baddha Konasana, reclining bound angle pose. And it'll be great if you can remember because that's how I like to start pretty much all of my classes. So we bring our feet together, knees apart, bring the bolster into the base of the spine. See if you can wiggle the heels a little closer, and then we'll lay ourselves over the top and bring the palms to face the ceiling. And then we'll close our eyes, leave behind any outside thoughts. Just forget about what you have to do later today or later in the week, and start to draw your attention inwards. Just notice how you're feeling in your body in this moment. We'll do a little body scan, starting at the top of the head, slowly moving down to the tips of the toes. And as you scan through the body, just pause at those areas that are maybe resisting a little bit or feeling some sort of tension. And as you pause at those areas, see if you can visualize that tension melting away from the body. Trying to create a little bit more relaxation before we get moving. Keep scanning through, pausing at those points that are resisting a little bit and try and smooth them out with the mind. If you're feeling like this is not so comfortable on your inner thighs anymore, you also have the option to bring the feet apart and rest the knees together. And if this is not feeling comfortable underneath your back, if you're using pillows, you can just remove some of the pillows or just adjust so that you're laying flat on the floor. You always want to feel comfortable and supported in your practice. If there's any sort of resistance, the nervous system is not going to allow you to continue to let go of the tension. As the body continues to settle, start to bring our awareness to our breath and just notice how the natural breath is flowing in and out. And we'll just take a mental note that actually most of the people living in the West are not breathing deeply enough. So we're born knowing how to breathe. Our body automatically knows how to breathe. But because we all live such fast-paced lives, and just over time, over our life, our body starts to forget how to breathe deeply, and most of us are now, as adults, breathing a little bit too much into our chest. So through the practice of yoga, we want to start to train ourselves to belly breathe again, and we can do that just by exaggerating the movement in the belly. And that will help to train the diaphragm to move a little bit more dynamically and encourage a deeper breath. So as we inhale, exaggerate the rise of the belly. Imagine it like a balloon expanding outwards. And as we exhale, imagine that balloon is contracting and the belly button just relaxes back towards the spine. As we inhale, the belly expands like a balloon. And As we exhale, the belly button falls back towards the spine. So we'll continue on like this, belly breathing, but we'll also count this out in our mind. So we inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. From here, decide whether you want to make your counts a little bit longer or a little bit shorter, depending on your personal lung capacity. We'll just stick with this for a few rounds, counting it out in your mind, or if you're aware of the length now, you can just focus on the breath and leave the counts behind. And you can choose to stay with the 4 count breath, or we'll move it up to 6 counts if you're feeling like your lung capacity will allow a little more. So breathing in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and out for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, you can just adjust to your lung capacity. Drawing the counts out a little longer or a little shorter. And you can just keep the breath there and leave the counts behind, or continue to count it out in your mind, so that we're always keeping our focus on the breath. It's like training for our mind as well, so that we can move out into our life being more focused and aware of the present moment. On the next breath, if you feel like you are able to, you can extend the counts to 8 now. I want to feel this sense that we're trying to increase our lung capacity, but we don't want, if there's any sort of resistance or it starts to feel like a struggle, that's your body's signals to pull back a little bit. Nothing should feel extremely uncomfortable in the practice of yoga. We're always listening to the little signals our body's giving us. We're moving towards our edge, but we're not pushing beyond it. Always listening to and respecting our body and its signals. With the next breath, now extend to your deepest possible breath. And this should not be feeling uncomfortable. It just should feel like you're pushing towards your most comfortable but expansive breath, and just stretching out that lung capacity a little bit more. We'll take 4 more breaths like this. And the whole time we're continuing to practice staying focused, keeping our deep sense of internal awareness. Nothing but the counts, and the smooth, deep breath flowing in and out of the body. And we'll just stop the counts in our mind. We'll just take a minute and we'll let the breath settle back a little bit, so we're not moving towards our deepest breath anymore, but it's still deeper than what it would usually be. And we want to try and bring this deeper breath through our entire practice. So we're continuing to show our nervous system that we're okay. The moment we forget to breathe as we move through our practice, that's the moment that we're sending signals to our brain that we're in that fight or flight response state, and it holds on. It doesn't let go of the tension that we want to get rid of. So always remember the breath. So slowly making your way up, and we'll start seated. You can sit on top of your cushions or your bolster, and we'll grab onto the strap. And we'll start in Sukhasana. So just lining up the heels in front of each other, roll the knees down towards the floor. It's really important, especially if you've got tight hips, to sit on top of something. If you find that the knees are coming up too high like there's a lot of tension there, and our body tends to hold on. So this just kind of tricks our nervous system into letting go, and then the hips will start to open gradually. So grabbing onto our strap, we'll bring the strap over the head and start to roll the scapular bone back together. Bring the arms behind the head as far as they can go. Take a full breath here. We exhale, bring the left arm down towards the floor, but we're still pushing the arms back, so we're exploring a full range of motion in the shoulder joints. Deep inhale. And exhale back to the center, and over to the other side. Back to the center. Just start to explore this movement pathway, just slowly moving the arms from side to side. You're trying to push the arms back. And bringing the hands to the center, move the arms back as far as they can go. Take a full deep breath here. Exhale, release a little bit. We'll slide the arms out a little bit further and see if you can find the point where you can bring your arms behind you all the way down to the floor. Move slowly. As we move the arms down, that's the exhale. And as we move the arms up, that's the inhale. Exhale, moving the arms down towards the floor. Inhale, rolling back up. We start to move a little bit creatively with this, so you've got a few different movements to choose from. You can come side to side, move back, and then swivel around to the other side, to the center. You can just move the arms up and down, or side to side. Just start to join these movements together in whatever order feels good for you. You can pause at points and just lean into those areas that are feeling the most tension. So keep going, keep moving, keep coordinating the movements with your breath. Most of the time, we're trying to keep the movement quite smooth and seamless, but we're pausing at those areas where we're feeling the most tension in the shoulder joint, and just lean into that sensation a little bit. Again, it doesn't need to be too intense. We don't want to be pushing right to our edge or beyond our edge and sort of forget what our body is telling us. We can lean into the sensation. And always remember to use the breath as a tool. So we're always continuing to unlock what we're holding on to. So we can bring a forward movement into it as we bring the arms out to the side. You can round through the back, bring the strap forward, swapping the arms over, then circling back, and then come back into your creative flow of the arms. And just as a general rule, when we're moving through our yoga postures, through our flows, usually every forward movement is an exhale, every backward or upward movement is an inhale. So as you move the arms forward, exhale. As you move the arms back and lift through the heart, inhale. Not only moving our shoulders now, shoulder joints, we're also starting to move our spine. And just finish off your last couple of rounds, making sure that you are even. You finished off with both sides complete. Good. So just give the arms a little bit of a shake out. And let's bring our hands to our knees and flip the fingers inwards. And for some of us, it might feel better now to slide forward off the bolster a little bit. So we're grounding down through the hips, fingers inwards. And we circle our torso around to the right, forward, to the left, and back. Full, deep circles of the spine. And what we're focusing on is this deep hinging at the hips. One more circle in this direction. And then reversing. So once you've really got a feel for that deep hinging at the hips, you can start to allow your spine to move a little bit more organically. So as you come up, you might like to peel the shoulders back and take a little upper body arch. As you come back, spine is curving, the heart is lifting. As you fold forward, the spine is rounding in the opposite direction. Reversing the direction one more time. And finishing off the last round that you're on and slowly coming to a still. So we'll draw the right hand back up the thigh, the left hand presses in front of the opposite knee, and we start to twist. Take a deep inhale, exhale, fold forward over the leg. This knee we're pressing away in the opposite direction. Take a deep inhale coming up, swap the hands over, pressing down into the knee, left hand draws back up the thigh and folding forward. Inhale, swapping over, using this arm action to move into a twist from the lower spine first, and then we fold. Inhale coming up, twist, and we fold. So again, start to make this a little bit of a creative play. So as we come over, you might linger here a little longer, Or you might just start to find your own rhythm with your own breath. Inhale as you come to the center. Exhale as you fold forward over the leg. Inhale back to the center. Exhale, fold. You might inhale back to the center. Exhale, fold. Linger a little bit longer. Take a full inhale here. Exhale completely. And then inhale to come up. Swapping sides. Take a full inhale. Exhale to fold. Inhale here. Exhale, collapse forward. Inhale back to the center. And keep going. So just linger where you need to linger for as long as you like, or just find your own rhythm with the breath. You might just like to linger in this twisting action, or that part of the movement. Lean into this twist for a breath, then fold. So find your own rhythm. Make it your own unique practice. And we'll just finish one more round on each side. And coming up to straight spine. Let's lean forward, coming onto all fours. Get rid of the props off our mat. And we come shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. Spread the fingers wide and press the hands down into the floor. So we go inhale, head and tail floating up to the ceiling. Peel the shoulders back. And exhale, head and tail curl under. We round through the back and pull up through the sides. Inhale, head and tail floating up into cow pose. Exhale, rounding through the back, pulling up through the sides. Keep moving with the breath. See if you can find a little more depth in the breath and slow the movement down to match. And then coming to neutral spine. And now we bring the spine, if you're imagining that you're looking at yourself from the ceiling down, imagine that you're making a C shape with your spine. So the crown of the head and the tailbone move around to the right and the middle of the spine presses around to the left. Exhale back to the center. Tailbone and crown of the head move to the left, middle of the spine moves to the right. And exhale back to the center. We'll do one more round on each side. And then coming to the center, and we'll see if we can join all of those parts together. If not, just return to one of those versions that we just did. So we inhale, crown of head and tailbone move to the ceiling, belly button to the floor. Crown of head and tailbone move to the left, middle of the spine moves to the right. Then crown of head and tailbone curl under. Then they move around to the right, middle of the spine to the left. Crown of the head and tailbone moving to the ceiling. You can keep that slow if you're still working it out, or if you've got it, you can start to speed up these full circles of the spine. Just remember, whichever direction the crown of the head and the tailbone are moving, the middle of the spine moves in the opposite direction. And if you get a little bit confused, just come back to our traditional cat-cow. Otherwise, we're taking full circles. Next time the head and tail reach up to the ceiling, reverse the direction of the circles. Take it slow, coordinate the movement with the breath. Remember, every inward, downward movement is the exhale. So when the head and tail curl under, that's the bottom of the exhale. And as we curl the head and tailbone up to the ceiling, that's the top of the inhale. Again, make this your own creative play. You can lean into the areas where you're feeling a little stuck. Maybe you'd like to bend the elbows a little bit. Do whatever you need to do to bring the spine through that full circle. And then coming to a still, neutral spine. Tuck the toes under and we'll walk back onto our feet. We come into a squat. Namaskarasana. So try and get both of the heels grounded into the floor. If you can't, you can grab onto a cushion or roll up a blanket and pop that underneath your heels. The elbows come in front of the knees and we start to press the knees open and bring the hands to the heart. Find this sense that the hips are dropping down towards the floor, rounding down. Shoulders peel back, the crown of the head lifts. And we're going to bring this shape into a little rocking motion. So coming onto the ball of the right foot, and we shift the weight over to the right. Coming onto the ball of the left foot, shifting the weight over to the left. If you're picturing what your hips are doing, it's like we're bringing the hips through a little semicircle. You see how my torso is sort of pivoting here. So I'm just initiating the movement with a shift of weight through my hips and just by lifting one ball of the foot up and then the other. And speed this up a little bit if that feels comfortable. Or come back to a still. Keep making it your own unique practice. And we'll all join each other at the center. Fingertips come down to the floor, lift the tailbone, start to walk the feet into parallel. Keep the knees quite soft at first, keep the knees bent so you can really nuzzle the belly into the thighs. Bring the backs of the hands to the floor or to the shins if you feel like you need a bit of support here. And then just allow the spine to collapse forward, give the head a bit of a nod and a shake to feel the length through the spine. And then from there, if you feel comfortable, you can start to lengthen through the tailbone, but don't move the spine. Don't let this tension or rounding action happen like this. We want to keep this deep crease at the hips and keep the spine relaxed completely. Two more breaths. One more breath. We'll all soften our knees on the next exhale. Roll up vertebrae by vertebrae to standing. And then we'll make our way to the front of our mat. We start with hands to heart. Bring the feet to parallel. And we inhale, scoop the arms wide, little upper body arch. Exhale, hinging from the hips. Hit this flat back point before you collapse forward. Soften the knees, release the head. Inhale to flat back. Slide the hands up the shins or keep the fingertips on the floor. Exhale, melting forwards, grounding down through the fingertips, roll in the belly, and we step the right leg back with control. Drop the back knee. Inhale, scoop the arms up into half moon. Press the hips forward, lift through the heart. Hold for 2 more breaths. 1 more full breath, reaching up through the fingertips. Exhale as the arms scoop down. We swivel the right toe back. Reach out to catch the mat, and we come into a supported side plank. Option to lift this leg away from the floor, otherwise just keep it there. We hold for 2 more breaths. 1 more breath. Standing up through those fingertips. And exhale, scoop the arm over the head, scoot the left leg back. See if you can bring it into a little bit more of a back bend. Breathing in. Exhale, scoop the leg and the arm back to its starting position, and then we swivel this leg forward, back into half moon, facing the other way. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, dive forward, swivel the leg in, and we come out into side plank. Again, option to lift that leg, otherwise just stay where you are. Breathing in, exhale, scoop this arm over the head, scoot the left leg back, take it into a little bit more of a back bend. Deep inhale here, coming back to our starting position, and we step this leg forward, back into half moon. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, diving forward, stepping together at the front of the mat. Soften through the knees, roll up vertebrae by vertebrae, rippling up, scoop the arms up. And exhale, dive forward. Inhale to flat back. Exhale, melting forwards. This time the left leg extends back. Inhale to half moon. Stay for 2 more breaths, extending up through the fingertips. Just be careful you're not crunching into your lower back. Make sure that there's a little bit of a lift through the lumbar spine, but you're bending from the point underneath the scapular bones. Breathing in. Exhale, arms scoop forward. The left toe scoops back, and we open out into side plank. Option to lift this leg up, or just stay where you are. Deep inhale. Exhale, arm scoops over the head, right toe scoots back. Take it into a little bit more of a back bend, open heart. Coming back to our starting position, and then we bring this right leg forward, back into half moon. Deep inhale, exhale, diving forward, swiveling around into side plank. Remember, you have this option to lift this leg up. Scoot the leg back, arm extends over the head. We push the hips forward and spiral the spine back. Coming back to our starting position, scooting this right leg forward, back into half moon. Exhale, flow forward, stepping together at the front of the mat. Rippling up to standing, arms scoop wide. Folding forward. Inhale to flat back. Exhale, folding forward again. Right leg scoops back, taking it a little bit faster this time. As you come up into half moon, you have the option to extend through that back knee now. Otherwise, just stay where you are. Drop the back knee down to the floor so we can swivel out into this side plank. Take a full breath here, reach up through the fingertips. Arm swivels back, leg swivels back, take it into that back bend. Coming back to your starting point, step the left leg forward. Half moon or high lunge. Take a full breath here, drop the knee if it's lifted. We scoot out into side plank. Stand that leg back. Come back to your starting side plank position. This leg steps forward. Half moon or high lunge. Exhale, flowing forward. Stepping together at the front of the mat. Rippling up to standing, last side. Let's do this last round in silence so we can really tune into our smooth flowing movements. And we'll just finish with our hands resting at our heart. Tune into any building warmth or change to the pulse or heartbeat. And then we'll drop the arms down by the sides. In drops to the chest. Soften through the knees. And vertebrae by vertebrae, we'll lower ourselves down into a squat, reach the fingertips forward. And then we'll make our way onto our back. Your arms coming out to the side. Make sure your knees, your hips and your heels are in a parallel line across your mat. And the knees drop over to the left, head looks to the right. Head looks over to the left, and then we release the right toe, trace the floor, catch onto the right toe with the left fingertips and pull this toe up towards the head. Release the toe, find the same spot on your mat and the knees roll over to the other side. And then trace the floor, catch onto the big toe with your hand, deep inhale. And exhale, come to the start. So you have two options here. You can just roll the knees from side to side and move the head in the opposite direction. So nice restorative release through the neck and the lower back. Or as you move your knees and head in the opposite direction to each other, the head then rolls the same way as the knees, and then you release the top toe to catch onto your hand. And tracing the floor, coming back to the center, the knees roll over the other way. So just find your own rhythm, your own version. And then we'll come to a still. From here, squeeze the knees into the chest. Take a little rock from side to side, releasing through the back, massaging the spine. Dropping the feet down to the floor, and then we'll extend the legs long, palms face the ceiling. And we come to our final resting pose. We clench the hands in, point the toes, squeeze in the belly, the glutes and the face. And then let everything relax completely. Every tiny little muscle still. And we'll spend these last couple of moments just scanning through the body, noticing what feels new or different. Noticing things like maybe certain joints are feeling a little bit more freedom. Maybe you're feeling a little bit of extra warmth. You're feeling the pulse or the heartbeat. And your awareness through all of the sensations and the different systems of your body. And see if you can gradually move your awareness to more and more subtle sensations, until eventually you're tuning into how you're feeling energetically. And make sure your breath is now settled into your natural, everyday breath. As you release control over your breath, just notice it's feeling different to the natural breath that you observed at the start of your class. Keep our awareness on the breath for a couple more moments. Completely present, anchored in the moment. And then we'll shift our internal focus outwards and just start to take in external sounds. Feel the temperature of the air on your skin. Maybe if you have a door or window open, you're feeling a little bit of breeze moving across the tiny hairs on the skin. Even though we've flipped our awareness outwards, we're still completely present in this moment. Taking it all in. And then when you're ready, you can start to move the fingertips and toes and start to bring movement back into your body. And then when you're ready, we'll roll over to our right side, using our left hand to prop ourselves up. And we'll come to any comfortable seated position. You could sit on your heels or sit how we started in Sukhasana, easy pose, lining up the heels in front of each other. And we'll close our eyes and either rest the palms in the hand, or you can choose your favorite mudra, or hands can come to the heart. And we'll close our practice with one Om. Breathing in together. Then opening your eyes when you're ready. Thank you for coming to practice with me, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that. I'd love to know how you went, and let me know if you have any questions at all. That last little floor sequence, will extend on that a little bit further for next time. It'd be a completely different class, but I just want to keep working on that last little sequence if we can. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you then. Have a lovely evening. Bye.